Hello, welcome back to the Live Reality Games podcast. My name is Steven Stewart. I'm here to talk about Survivor BC, Rockrain Valley, episode 8. This is I think the most pivotal episode of the season where we see players to determine, do we stick with original alliances, do we break away, and we see players turn to try to eat each other. And I'm joined today with the one, the only Tony. Tony, how are you doing?
Hey, bang, bang, pop, pop. I'm here. And I'm doing good.
Tony, I still don't understand, why did you get voted out? Of all the people they could choose from, why you?
To be honest, I really don't know. I mean, going back, watching the episode, I kind of see Stacy kind of threw my name out there, but
Mm-hmm.
like to be honest, like you think they would want to go after the big people like
Mm-hmm.
Rachel or Keegan, so I really
Mm-hmm.
don't know.
Well, we'll talk about, maybe it's a little like what happened with Keegan, Lori, and me in episode. Ooh, that would have been episode 4 at the swap, where they tell me Keegan's going home, they tell Keegan Steven's going home, and the answer is they vote out Lori because they're like, hey, we're gonna sow confusion and we're gonna vote the person they least expect it. And they decide, like, we'll pit Keegan and Rachel against each other, and boom, we'll take out Tony because no one will expect Tony. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I mean, it could be close to that whole scenario. I mean,
Hmm. Well,
Survivor works different ways and different dynamics. Like you never
so
really know what a plan gets together till it's a plan, and you're like, it's you.
So I want to back up a bit. First of all, like, how have you been doing? Survivor BC ran in 2019. It has been a couple years since we've had a chance to talk because we live in different parts of the country. But how have you been doing, especially in the post-COVID world?
Oh man, post COVID world's crazy. But I'm doing good. Working, spending time with my daughter Ariel. We're having fun. It's about ready to be spring break, so we're going to do some stuff here and there. And overall, I've been good, and I've just been laying back, watching these podcasts and watching these episodes.
Well, how did you learn about Survivor BC? How did you end up applying for Survivor BC?
Oh well, I guess that's a story to itself.
Let's
Like,
hear it.
all right, way back, I was doing these like clinical Covance lab rat studies. Like you're in these little studies where you're like a lab rat. You get paid
Hmm.
and you give blood and you pop pills. And I was so bored, so I go to YouTube. I start typing in like little survivor like on YouTube, and the first thing came up was surviving real foot, and I binged that. I was like, whoa, this is interesting. Like I never knew they had these kind of
Hmm.
LRGs. So then just throughout that, got my I could say I got my foot in the door and got on season 4 uh real foot,
Hmm.
and then I guess the rest has been history. And way back when I was doing real foot, one of the hosts, Amos, was talking about going up to Canada and playing in British Columbia. I
Hmm.
was like, is that a thing? It's like, is there like LRGs in Canada? And just like the rest, I put two and two together. It was like, man, I would love to meet Jara, and I would love to play this. So it's kind of a little bit of addiction, but I mean, overall, man, it's been fun and getting to meet new people.
So you apply the show, you get on Survivor BC, you fly out to Canada, you spend several hours blindfolded. I don't know how long you were blindfolded for. You spend a while blindfolded. Finally, the blindfold comes off, the game begins. What's going through your head?
Well, like when you're blindfolded, they're like they get you in a car. You're blindfolded. You don't know where you're going. I don't even recall how long I was blindfolded.
Mhm.
And then we freaking take the blindfolds off, and I look, and the first person I see is like Taylor. I'm like, what? And then I look around, it's like, oh my god. And but the here thing about the thing when we took off the blindfolds, I see the line here, the line row of us, and then I see a whole nother line. At first, I thought the whole line was the players, but it was actually production. I was like, I was like shocked.
So you and Taylor both played season 4 of Real Foot?
Yes, we
Okay.
did.
And did you start in the same tribe or you were in different tribes?
We was on the same tribe,
Okay.
but we was on different alliances.
Mm-hmm.
So like we wasn't like working together at the beginning, or but it's just like crazy how like she's there.
So I don't want to spend a ton of time on the original Batahan, but that you were a bit of danger on that original tribe because you caught votes at both the tribal councils you went to the original Batahan. What talk to me about your strategy in that early part of the game?
Oh well, okay. Early on, I just wanted to be myself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the word is, if it's introvert or whatever you call it. Like me, I'm very social, but like coming in with a group of people, like I'm not just gonna open up and just start talking. Like I can't do that. But I have to I gotta spread my wings. So the way I look at it is, I'm just be myself. I want to get to know people one on one and see where this is going, and then like start picking up wins and like, hey, let's get myself into a good alliance, and it worked out. I mean,
yeah. I remember that too because I remember. Well, one thing that's weird, for your season of Real Foot, did you have like a full 24 hours of together before you voted someone out? Like you didn't vote someone out till like the third day 3 or something like that, or did you have tribal council like the very next day?
Going way back, we had like a whole dedicated. We pretty much got the whole 1 day survivor experience where no one was voted out the first night, and then the next day, that's when elimination started happening.
And that had been my experience as well prior to Survivor BC. So for me, it was very weird. Like we had that first night, and the next day, boom, we're already going to tribal councils, and I was like, oh wow, this is faster. And I remember seeing you because I remember you were kind of a bit apart from the group to start, but I noticed even that starting that second day, things had changed around. You've kind of figured out your people.
Yeah, I mean, I really got to warm up. I really got close. Me and Taylor, we made a good pact. And then me and Keegan, like we were really feeling each other back and forth, like, hey, this might be a thing. And then Rachel was like, we just like it was like an instant connection, like
okay.
So I mean, just I found my people, and that's a really big key when you come to these games to find your people.
And one cool thing is everyone you're describing made it to the merge with you.
Yeah.
So you get through Bauton, you end up on Ula Ula, your new swap tribe. This you don't go to tribal council in this tribe, so this is kind of easy living a bit.
Yeah, it was kind of nice. Like right after we swapped, and Steve, I still don't know why you had me, but I mean it is what it is. It worked out for me.
I mean, so I was put in the SWAT. I was the first person to learn, like, hey, take some of your merge tribe, put in the other tribes. Like, what am I doing? And I just thought, like, with you, I could work things out later on. I thought of all the players, like, I felt like you were the person who I would be able to talk to, and we could smooth things over, and there'd be the least damage. I was just totally on the spot, like, what am I doing?
I mean, it was really nice. Like, once we swapped, like, we was winning to merge, and like it was really nice. I mean, I would have wondered what would have happened had we lost, like, because there'd been 3 against 3 or whatever.
3-3, no extra vote. I mean, Rachel had an idol that I think it sounded like she would have played immediately had y'all come to tribal council.
Yeah, and like one time I remember right back, like Rachel came up to me, it's like, well, if we have to go to rocks or something like that, should we turn on Taylor? I'm like, no, I don't think we should. There's
Mm-hmm.
no way. Like, we need to be solid.
Mm-hmm.
And we never had to go to tribal. We never had to worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it always brings me back, like, what is the scenario if we did get one L and we had to go to tribal?
So, talk to me about the three Ula Ula players that you're in the trial with. You're with Kristen, you're with Lexi, you're with Aline. Did you build any relationships with them, or was it really kind of the Baton three and the Ula Ula three kind of apart?
Well, I kind of seen it as a three versus three, and I'm pretty sure Rachel saw it as three versus three because she's a game bot, really good player. And the person I got too close was Aline. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we we kind of had a little bit of a bromance, and just like, and I seen how Aline was really close with Lexi, and I
Mm-hmm.
thought maybe when merge comes, like, maybe I could use that into my advantage.
Mm-hmm.
But like, overall, like, Aline's awesome.
So one thing that did happen is you find a clue to the idol, and you end up sharing it with the entire tribe.
Yeah, it's like, it was crazy. It was like right behind our camp, like right behind a tree. I found it, and like, I was shocked, like, because I actually found something. Like, I've never found an idol or anything. So hey, I had a clue. I will take that to my bucket list. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yes, I did
Mm-hmm.
that. And so I just like, hey guys, look what I found. I just wanted everyone to, like, you know, unite and just go idol searching, and it worked out. And
Mm-hmm.
and and we were searching for an idol for, like, it seemed like a few hours, and I never came up nothing. But I guess Rachel found it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like, but like, I'm glad that our side got found it.
Do you wish that you had just kept the clue to yourself and tried to find the idol yourself?
Um, After reading it, it just depends. Like, if I had an idea on where it could be,
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea. So I guess just the kindness out of my heart, I shared it with everybody,
Mm-hmm.
and it was awesome. Just being out there in the wilderness, look, everyone just like looking
Mm-hmm.
for it.
So your tribe wins the next two challenges. Rachel actually wins an advantage. Did she tell you what she won?
She Rachel hinted around to what it could be, and she kind of, made it known, like, it's a power. It could help us
Mm-hmm.
during when there's a certain amount of people left. And it's like, I mean, she filled me in
Mm-hmm.
here and there, but I didn't know exactly
Mm-hmm.
what it was till later on.
Mm-hmm. So once you get to the merge, right? If you're looking from tribal lines, there's 6 original Ula Ula, there's 4 original Batohan. If you're sticking by tribal lines, that's not a good feeling, right? So what was going through your head at the merge?
Oh man, like, merge was per madness. Like, the second, like, the challenge was over, everybody was scrambling, and I was trying to talk to everyone the best I could, but it
Mm-hmm.
was like nothing but pure chaos. I loved it.
Mm-hmm. Well, so at what point did you feel like, okay, the 6 of them are sticking together and they're all voting on Rachel? At what point did you kind of know did you know that was going to happen, or you're just like, I hope it's just not me?
Um, at that point, I had no clue what was going on,
Mm-hmm.
but there was a scenario where I thought Lindsay was like the biggest threat in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to pull Aline and Lexi in with us, original Bottawan,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of put this vote together.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it didn't pan out like that. Like, people were like flipping the line, but
Mm-hmm.
like, that's what we wanted to do
Mm-hmm.
originally. But like, just like, my alliance is like, no, we just can't trust Aline.
Mm-hmm. Well,
And you saw that play out too.
At the merge, you're also meeting some people for the first time, right? You're meeting Lindsay for the first time. You're meeting David for the first time. You're meeting Stacy, who you might have heard of before because of her real foot experience.
Yeah, I,
Hey,
I know I know who Stacy is. She's a freaking boss in this game. I got nothing but respect for her, and it was kind of cool to play play with someone from like the original season.
a real foot
And
legend.
then playing this game, I like at the beginning and middle game, like there's a lot of real footers out here that I had no idea. I
Hmm.
was like yeah, I watched the feeds and stuff, but like I didn't put two and two together
Hmm.
until I was out there. I was like, oh wow.
Hmm. Um, what were your thoughts on David and Lindsay?
Oh man, okay. I still think Lindsay is just so powerful. Like I think she's a really good gamer, and I got to have a lot of great conversations with her. And then David,
Hmm.
me and him clicked. Like
Hmm.
I don't know what would happen if me and him started out on the same tribe or not.
Hmm.
But like we was always like talking, and it kind of seemed like we was working together, but we wasn't. Like we were like, hey, I'm not
Hmm.
voting for you, and he'd be like, hey, I'm not voting for you, and we kind of
Hmm.
like bounced that back and forth. But I
Hmm.
mean, David's an awesome person.
So at that first merge tribal council, Rachel plays an idol, and I take it you were surprised.
Yeah, like I was in my head, I was like, yes, I wanted to like, yell like yes out loud, but like I think that was awesome auto play.
Hmm.
It changes the game
Hmm.
because like everyone was gunning for Rachel, and I still don't know why. Like, yes, she's a good player, but there's other great players too. But
Hmm.
that's what they wanted to do, and it did not work out for them.
So at the final nine, we have probably one of my favorite challenges. It's the candle challenge, where everyone has a candle and you're throwing water at each other. And this is, I guess, the first time, at least watching, I realize like, oh, I guess like, everyone, you help Rachel out in the challenge, and you're maybe a factor of why she ends up winning because the two of you tag team with each other to take out Aleem. Talk to me about that challenge.
Okay, that challenge was like one of my most favorite challenges. The whole the candle thing, walking around, you
Hmm.
gotta make sure like no one's knocking out your candle. And but there was a big factor. There's the wind.
Hmm.
The wind knocked me out
Hmm.
because like you could move like somewhat, and just the little flicker would just like kind of.
Hmm.
But me and Rachel, we did work together on that, and for some reason, I'm in the challenge, and then Aleem starts gunning for me. I'm like, what? So you see the whole thing with us going after Aleem. That was a lot of fun, but
My favorite scene is like you and Rachel are camped in the middle. Aleem is coming in the middle, and both of you just start throwing water in his face at that point.
yeah, that's hands down my favorite challenge from
Well, because I
Rockrain
thought what was
Valley.
interesting is like everyone at this like, oh my gosh, Tony and Rachel BFFs, like they're a team, like, and I guess I hadn't realized to that point like how close you and Rachel were with each other.
Yeah, it's like we had a bond, and then our bond got closer like right after we swapped together.
Hmm.
Like we had to have each other's back. It's just the way we saw it.
I mean, did you? Who was? I guess if you had to choose, like, are you like was Taylor and Keegan more important to your game? Was Rachel more important to the game? Like, where were you? Because I feel like we see a kind of an opposition
Hon-
between those two groups.
Honestly, like the three of them, Keegan, Rachel, and Taylor, they were really like my alliance, and I had their backs. Like
Hmm.
these people, I got really close to in the game, strategizing back and forth, like bouncing ideas off our heads. Like these are my people,
Hmm.
and we was going to try to get out like all the other people, and then like who knows what would happen, but
Hmm.
it's really fun making alliances in these games.
So after the candle challenge, Rachel wins immunity. And one thing that we open up with in this episode is you say, "Hey, I'm a big reason why Aleem went home." Talk to me about what happened and your involvement in Aleem going out.
All right, dude. All right. Yeah. So right after the previous round, what after the big water challenge and stuff, the Aleem does not even attempt to talk to me
Mm-hmm.
at all. I don't know why. And no, it was probably after the Lexi vote that
Mm-hmm.
Aleem just stopped talking because they were close. And so I was like, he's not talking to me. I might be a target. So I just put up to Stacy and Keegan, and I was like, hey, let's do a Aleem on this vote. It
Mm-hmm.
needs to happen. Let's make it work. And Stacy's eyes lit up like she was on board for it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm surprised that all these people voted for Aleem as they did. And I think David was like the only one who didn't
Yeah.
vote Aleem. And it was just like, hey, my plan worked. It went through. And I mean, there was footage of me. Well, I don't know if there was or not, but I was pushing so hard for Aleem, and it worked out. So,
So you mentioned that, but Liam is the person you're probably making the best bonds with from the Ula Ula tribe on your swap tribe. And so what went wrong with you and Aleem?
I guess with him, I mean, Aleem's an awesome brother. Like, just once Lexi, I believe, was his ride or die,
Mm-hmm.
got voted out, and he knew that I voted for Lexi. He just didn't want to attempt
Mm-hmm.
to associate with me. So I
Mm-hmm.
guess that was the big pivotal thing right there.
So we're now entering our current episode. Aleem has just gone home. He's the first member of the jury. Things are looking good. In the past 2 rounds, no Baton member has gone home. So there's 4 Ula Ula, 4 Batohan. What's the next step for you?
Um, well, I made some work. I'll tell you what, like to get the tribes even 4-4, because going in the merge, we was in minority.
Mm-hmm.
So at this round, I got it to 4-4. I'm so thankful that like my team, Rachel, Keegan, Taylor, we've been putting in work in this
Mm-hmm.
game. And this round, I really Lindsay, I think, wins immunity.
Yes.
And this round, it's like we try to put like David comes around me and he's like kind of hitting around that he has an idol. I'm like,
Mm.
wow, he might have an idol. So, and my Boaton peeps, we was like, we're strategizing. I'm like, why don't we just put the phone on Stacy?
Mm-hmm.
And that round, like, it was a hard round for me.
Well, talk to me about that challenge. This challenge does not seem like a challenge that you loved as much as Lindsay did.
Oh, okay. So like, I'm bad at math. Okay, I'm
Mm-hmm.
really bad. And algebra, fractions, I don't know, dude. I know how to multiply. I know how to add and subtract, and and use a calculator. It was not my challenge to do, and it was other people's challenge. I don't think other people knew what they were doing, or they struggle with math just like I do. So
You're in the Taylor St. Louis camp of I hate math and spelling, all skipping.
but props to Lindsay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think she's a teacher and she's good in math. So
Yeah,
like
I
that
think
was
she
her
talked about
challenge.
tutoring too. Yeah.
Yeah, that was her challenge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember because I was helping out one of the stations at this point, and I had like, gosh, I can't remember the sequence. I remember one person came by and was just cursing, and then like Keegan came by and he got like his last letter, second last letter, and he kind of had this realization of like, oh, I think I know what it is. And then I had Kristen come by who's just so mad. She's like, I know the word. My leg is hurting and I can't get to these stations in time to get the letters. She's like, it's security, but I can't solve it.
Yeah, it was a really hard challenge. Like, it was not my cup of tea.
So I want to ask you about David, because David was telling players he had an extra vote. He's going to play last round. He's telling everyone he had an idol. What did you think he had, or what did you believe he had at this point?
I believe David, just by talking to him, I believe I, I was I was assumed that he had an idol,
Mm-hmm.
but which he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But it just like that got to my head, and with this round, like oh man, like I kind of wish like the my peeps we were just like stuck together, like make it like a unanimous vote together, like could have been like 5-4 or something. Just like it's just crazy watching this back, like just seeing how they kind of turn on each other that
Yeah.
round. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, oh my god,
So, because I think one of the first things that happens, strategy wise, is the four of you get together and say, who are we voting for? And you decide on Stacy, right?
yeah, yep.
And then after that, who are you talking to? What are you hearing? What are you saying?
After that, I'm talking to Rachel, um, one on one, and I told her like, "Hey, I'm really enjoying playing this game with you,"
Mm-hmm.
and she's like, "Oh, I hope you're not planning to vote me out." And then I go up and I talk to like Chris, Christine
Kristen.
and Kristen, and it's like I'm not hearing her name,
Mm-hmm.
and I told her like I, you know, so like I'm not getting any read from her, and then I talked to David, and he's like, oh, I'm hitting around about Idol, so just that whole round,
Mm-hmm.
and it's crazy. Like I go up to Kristen, and I go up to Lindsay, and they seem animate about like knowing how I'm voting, and when it gets closer to tribal, I talk to each of them individually, Kristen and Lindsay, and they just like I just couldn't give them a name.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that were factored in anything, but it was just a wild ground.
Okay, so you were holding the Stacy vote close to your chest. You weren't pitching it to the Ulu and trying to get them on board.
Um, that's correct. Yeah,
And even David, like you didn't tell him, he didn't tell you who he was voting for.
yeah, that's correct. Like it's just I wanted to keep with my people and not just like blurt out the vote.
Mm-hmm.
So like
And had you also have a chance to talk to like Taylor or Keegan one on one this round?
yeah, I mean, I talked to both of them together, and Keegan comes up to me. He's like, "Do you have an idol?" I'm like, "I don't have an idol. Like, I stripped down. I don't have an idol. I wish I had an idol." And it's just like nothing was really
Mm-hmm.
like you could tell that round. My people, I call my people, and we just couldn't. I thought the vote was Stacy. We just couldn't,
Mm-hmm.
get together. And if you look at the tribal council, I'm being, you know, voted out. You look at Keegan's face. I'm cracking up because Keegan's like, oh, he like knew like, oh my god, like you could tell he knew like they shouldn't have
Mm-hmm.
even with the Stacy playing her
Extra
extra,
vote.
like Keegan was like, you look at him, he's like, he's he's like in disbelief.
Well, and this is what I find so wild that Rachel, Keegan, and Taylor, none of them told you like, "Hey, we're turning on each other. Vote with us, please." Like, no one, everyone just left you out of the loop, which I just can't believe.
Yeah, like had I don't know what kind of situation. I'm thankful that they didn't because I wouldn't want to be in that
Mm-hmm.
scenario. Like if Keegan told her like say, "Hey, we're voting for Rachel,"
Mm-hmm.
and Rachel's like, "Hey, I'm voting for Keegan." Like I'm glad I was not in that
Mm-hmm.
scenario situation. I'm glad they like kept their votes to themselves. But just because I don't know what I would have done there,
Mm-hmm.
and because like I don't like turning in online, I like to try to be loyal and just like stick it through with them.
Well,
And
I
so
want I want to throw a hypothetical at you. Let's say you did know that Rachel, Taylor, and Keegan, none of them want to go for rocks for each other, right? Because I think this is the problem. Like they think that we're going for a 4-4 tie, and they're not going the rocks for each other. I feel like that's the root cause, right? what if, let's say you know this is a problem. Is there anything you think you can do to help bring the four of you together? Say, no, we need to stick together. We need to go for rocks for one another.
Um, at this point, I think it was kind of where that maybe there's advantage going around.
Mm-hmm.
Like we thought David had an advantage.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anyone knew about Stacy's advantage at all.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had talked more with with them with my alliance, and I would not be afraid to go to rocks. Like
Mm-hmm.
I would love a 4-4. That that would be a really great. And it's just that was a really hard round.
Mm-hmm. Well, and one more hypothetical. Let's say you knew
Right.
Stacy had an extra vote, and that Stacy likely was going to play it. And if you know that, like, well, shoot, we can't win because it's going to be a 4-5, right? Like, what do you do in that case?
If had I known the boss, Stacy,
Mm-hmm.
if she had that extra vote, I would have talked way more with her that round.
Mm-hmm.
I would tried. I would try to work my magic, but had I known she had an extra vote, like I think that would have been a really reliable source of,
Mm-hmm.
that I could use towards my advantage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes me wish that Rachel's extra vote, instead of being good for 9-7-5, was good for 10-8-6.
Oh
when
my!
there were like even numbers potentially.
Yeah, that would have been wild.
So, so why do you think you were the target? Why do you think Ula Ula came after you in the end of things?
I guess maybe they thought one of us had an idol, and I going back watching the episode, like I saw Stacy bring up my name,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess David just wanted to go with that. I guess they wanted to go with the safest route for them
Mm-hmm.
in case they were worried about an idol play. But I honestly don't know why I was the vote that round.
Mm-hmm.
Like you would think if I was Ula Ula, you would want to go after like Rachel or
Mm-hmm.
Keegan or like, oh no.
Because I feel like Badawan is all disintegrating, and they're just handing themselves over to Ula Ula and say, "What do you want? Take your pick." Right? Do you want Rachel? Do you want Keegan? You can. It's basically Ula Ula's choice. And maybe Ula Ula just doesn't believe it. They're just like, "No, this is too good to be true. It must be a lie. They must be deceiving us. It's all a farce."
Yeah.
So talk to me about your reactions hearing the vote read. Right. So first, no one plays an idol. Right. And after David swearing he's playing an idol.
Oh, okay. Okay, when Jara starts reading the votes, I'm like, he's like reading Rachel's name. He's reading Keegan's name. I was like, what is going on here? All these random votes. And then he reads, Stacy's. I was like, okay, my vote's on there. Let's see how, we're going. And then the Tonys just start popping up. I'm like, oh my, dude. Like the plan fell through. When I got voted out, I legit thought like my alliance turned on me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought they were the ones voting. I thought they were the ones voting for Tony because I thought the other people were voting for Keegan and Rachel and stuff. So it is. I was blindsided, but it was an awesome play.
Walking. So looking back on the merge, is there anything you think you could have done? Is there anything you could have maybe done differently that help avoid the spate? Was it just simply talking to Stacy a lot more?
Looking back, I don't think I made any mistakes. I think I had a very really solid game. I had very really solid alliance. After like people were going to vote out, I was feeling the game of Rockrain Valley. I was feeling more solid, and just like maybe I would like want to go back and have another conversation with Stacy because I don't think we ever really talked about gameplay all that much.
Hmm.
Maybe going back and talking to David more that round and kind of like be like, hey, like I'm not going to vote you this round. That might have
Hmm.
factored in, So like maybe talking to David more that round could have
Hmm. Hmm.
helped me.
So the downside is you're out of the game, but the upside you're on the jury, right?
Yeah.
So talk to me about like how is that first conversation with Aline of just like what's happening?
All right. So Ponderosa, they put us in a nice Airbnb. Me and Elaine, we bonded. We were having fun. We were clowning around in the jury house, and it was just so nice
Hmm.
to like just catch up with him and just clown around and talk about the game. And just
Hmm.
like it's real fun.
Hmm. Yeah,
And I mean,
I would ask you more, but we can't spoil the future episodes,
right.
unfortunately.
And it's just like, I mean, me and Lean, we talked a little game, but it's like, hey, man, we're both here on jury. We both got
Hmm.
outed and outlasted, and we just like we were excited to be on the jury and
Hmm.
wake up the next morning and go to tribal,
Hmm.
and we have our jury seats. We got our front row jury seats, so.
Um, what was I going to ask? And so, what did you think was going to happen next? Right? You know your alliance is down 3-4. Like, did you have like if you could guess what was going to happen, what was it going to be?
Okay, I just got voted out. I think the next person joining me is going to be another
Hmm.
bullet, bullet,
Yeah, one of the original Batahan members.
Botteron, and
Hmm.
I feel like one of them's coming in at me because now original Ula, they have majority,
Hmm.
and they try to say, "Oh, we're not playing a tribal division game," but it kind of looks like that.
So, when you go to cast a jury vote, like what do you value as a jury member?
um, it's a guaranteed spot to vote for the winner. You get to make a question to
Hmm.
the final two
Hmm.
or final three, and it's like a first class spot. You're good. You're set. You get to talk to the other juries
Hmm.
members when they start piling in right after
Hmm.
you because not everyone could get to the end. So
I guess more specific for you, what are you looking for in a winner? What do you want to see in in a winner when you vote?
when I look um, for the winner, I look at who talked to me,
Hmm.
who reached out to me,
Hmm.
um, who made me feel comfortable in the game, but also who also played the game and took people out, made moves. I mean, there's so much stuff to look at when you're
Hmm.
looking at a final two or final three.
Hmm.
So, I mean, but like just being jury, it does mean a lot because you do get that vote,
Hmm.
and so like, yeah.
So I want to kind of throw some rapid fire questions at you, just kind of get
All
your
right, all
first
right,
thoughts, initial takes on
okay.
things. So, favorite thing about Canada?
um, the wilderness, like you're lying down
Hmm.
at it could be either camp. I kind of like the Ula camp because it
Oh,
was
their camp was better,
more.
hands
And
down.
you look up, you see those big trees right in front of you. It's just the view.
Hmm.
I mean, just the the environment, the nature, the wilderness. It's just like the whole all that is
Hmm.
amazing to look at.
What's a favorite moment of your time at camp? Like, what's a favorite camp life moment for you that may or may not have made the camera?
Favorite camp life moment. Oh my god. Let's see, like making. I guess make favorite camp life would be me once we swapped, and then I got over to the Ula Ula.
Hmm.
I'm like, hey, I'm in this game for I made the swap, and just like you just take everything in and you feel at home.
What was your favorite challenge?
Hands down, the water candle challenge. Oh, I think I got like I was like in the top three of that or something like that. Oh my
Hmm.
god, or four, whatever.
Yeah,
It
you're in the top for it.
was hands down, dude. That's funnest challenge.
What was your lowest moment in the game?
Um. Okay. Lowest moment of the game. I don't think I had. I don't think I had any lows. Like, cause I was like, I always like a burst of energy.
Hmm.
Like, I guess the lowest point was like at the beginning of the game
Hmm.
when we're running back and forth,
Yeah, getting our stuff.
and like I had like a Canada shirt that I wanted to wear, and I just like the challenge ended, and I could get like I couldn't get my last one item. So like
But, so what was your highest moment? What was the top of the game for you?
um top of the game was probably like I guess getting voted out. Like, hey, I made a legacy. I got voted out at Rockrain Valley.
Hmm.
I made it to the top eight.
Hmm.
I made a jury. That's one heck of an accomplishment. Like just like hey, I I made it. I'm here. I'll be on the wiki. And like yeah, man, I'm in it. Proud of my game.
Who surprised you the most out there?
See who? Noah.
Noah.
No, like, dude, okay, let me talk about it. Like, Noah at the beginning had an awesome strategy. Like, he was pulling around with the sticks, like,
Hmm.
hey, we're going to do this. And,
Hmm.
like, it seemed like as a player and a fan, like, I wanted to root for Noah at the beginning. But then once he starts, like, telling everyone what he's doing, it's like, you had a good plan. You just should have kept your mouth shut, and you probably would have still been in there. But like that was really one of the defining moments that I wow.
Who do you wish you worked with but you didn't have a chance to?
Um, let's see, who did I want to work with? Probably you, man. Like
I should have left you. Well, granted, if you had been on the That's One 2.0 with me, it would have worked out very well for one of us. I feel.
but like I don't know, like
Hmm.
the whole Lori how Lori played the idol, like that would
Yeah.
have been crazy. But like just like had it's like I wanted to make a connection with you,
Hmm.
and had we got into merge, like we could have like
Yeah.
bounced ideas off of each other, and like we could have we
I,
could have been a duo. Who
I, I,
knows?
I felt very flat-footed in our game. Like I felt like I didn't anticipate how fast things went, and I didn't. I should have really done. I really missed out on building kind of those more personal one-on-one connections, and I think you were one of the people I missed that out with, and that was a mistake.
Yeah, and it's like because you look back at the beginning of the game,
Hmm.
and like I at the like a first like beginning of the challenge we our first challenge that we lost, like I tried to approach Kevin and stuff and like what do
Hmm.
you want to do,
Hmm.
and just like I guess Kevin was too close with Naya,
Hmm.
and it's like Kevin was probably someone I wanted to like reach out to, but it's just like
Hmm.
he started
Yeah.
jotting my name down.
Yeah, I remember that for that first round of strategy, you're a person like I just like I was able to speak with you, but just not very much time, right? Like it was just like I don't know, it was tough.
Yeah.
Um, Finally, how what how do you encapsulate your Survivor BC experience? What does Survivor BC mean to you now?
um, it amazing experience. Like me and Jira all the alumni production that are helping him, and just being out there playing a really good game is just like there's a whole community, and the whole Survivor British Columbia is just like
Mhm.
a like a little faction that like all clicks together and
Mhm.
just mad props to them.
Well, since Survivor BC, I would say, will you play another live rally game? But I think you have played some other games since Survivor BC, correct?
uh, I've only played one other game.
Okay.
I played a Sentence Live season one.
Mm-hmm.
That was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
It was down in Orlando, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I do want to get my foot back in the door. I do want to kick the door open, and play more games because like it's a little bit of an addiction, especially when you like
Just a little.
yeah, it's especially when you do really good in these games,
Mm-hmm.
and I just love meeting people and the whole experience. So
Mm-hmm.
like,
No, I'm right. I'm right with you. They are addicting, and I just love the adventure, going someplace new, and just meeting all these people from all over the world you never meet otherwise. Like it took us to Canada. Like how awesome is that?
yeah, and the thing about it is like I like testing myself, like seeing how far I could go, like putting myself through this stuff physically and mentally, and just like you, game by game,
Mm-hmm.
you slowly get better and better, and you improve, and that's that's a lot. And
Mm-hmm. Uh, Tony, is there anything else you want to talk about your Sour PC experience that we maybe didn't bring up?
um, yeah, just a little stuff, just a
Yeah,
little.
let's do it.
Um, so way back, okay, when we had to run to go get our clothes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, seeing you did it, well, you probably did see, but didn't see is when Aleem, it was me, Keegan, and Aleem. We were looking at the puzzle.
Mm-hmm. The big whiteboard with kind of or the
Yeah,
puzzle or the whiteboard,
it was like a
like
whiteboard,
a poster board. There we
and
go. Yeah.
I figured it out. What like once I got over there, I figured it out,
Mm-hmm.
and it was Aleem and Keegan. They were trying to solve it,
Mm-hmm.
and for I figured out, and Keegan was trying to beat Aleem to it, and I told Keegan the answer, and then I went to go. You could see me going up to the cameras, and I say to the cameras, like gyro and stuff, and then they figured out the challenge is over and they cut it.
So I'm curious. Do you wish you solved it for that first immunity?
No, I'm glad
Mm-hmm.
Keegan did it. I didn't even think about like solving the puzzle. I was thinking about, hey, I want to go get back and grab my Canada shirt, get that, and then I'll probably work on the puzzle.
Yeah, I was too busy trying to get all the stuff I possibly could for the game. So I'm right with you.
Yeah, my main thing I had to grab was my hoodie,
Mm-hmm.
so because you could use that as a pillow.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Other thoughts about the game is it was awesome seeing Chris there.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Chris played together on the Ultimate Challenger 3.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, and so just seeing him out there at the beginning, I was like, "Oh my god! I hope hope we're on the same tribe." And he's on. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh," so hopefully, maybe we could swap or merge together. But like, he's one heck of a gamer. So
Mm-hmm.
it sucks seeing him get out so early. But like, he would have been someone I would have connected with instantly. So.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, any other thoughts about the game? Um, like just overall, like I had a blast. Like, and I'm still having a blast watching
Mm-hmm.
all these episodes play out. Like, I can't wait to get up to the finale and see what's going to happen. So
They shout out to Matt Raymer for editing and taking the time to make this happen, because it's felt like a gift to have this come out and be able to talk about it and be able to kind of relive this game.
And I've really been enjoying watching the podcast too.
Mm-hmm.
I also brought you an orange because you said you don't like oranges.
So many regrets for not eating the orange.
But I had to pull it out for you.
Oh man, no, that still haunts me to this day, Tony. It does.
But you go back, you look at the scenarios, you look at everything that happened, and it's just like
Dustin loves the fact you brought an orange.
Yeah.
Well, Tony, I just want to say thank you so much. I love having a chance to talk and catch up with you. I'm excited to see the rest of the season play out, because now we're both on the other side of the screen watching it happen, and this will be an adventure.
And I can't wait to see everything unfold.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be great.
I mean, these next episodes, we know what's gonna happen. It's gonna be good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in, and the next Survivor BC episode should be dropping tomorrow evening, and so get excited. Thank you all.